Hey nerds, join us on Discord and hit that subscribe button.
I am dedicated to Laris. My name is Ceallach.
Thessally, Oma,
Ceallach,
Flynn.
and I'm your DM, Seth. Welcome to Venture Forth. When last we left our heroes. Born ragged from 2 days of battling in the siege to the south and some recent changes in the agreement between a certain archfey and our resident fighter, you all retired to Stillgate and Sunbloom to pursue some downtime.
bye-bye.
Seeker headed to the Temple of Laris to prepare to enact sacred rites, dedicate himself as a holy warrior of Laris. Thessaly took some time to join her brother Ceallach and hear about what has happened to him over the last 6 years of their time apart from each other, and learned exactly how it is he came to join the ranks of the Steamstride Wardens at the specific recommendation of Nasaid Kalb. Quick aside, I definitely called Nasaid Kalb Cade at one point when I was talking about him with Ceallach, and that was not correct at all. I called him, it's Nasaid Kalb, and I called him Cade. So anyway, his name is Nasaid Kalb.
A lot of names in the world.
There are a lot of names I
And
gotta
in
remember.
your brain.
Ceallach had what can only be described as a flummoxing experience at the hands of a magnanimous shop owner in the form of Mateo, the proprietor of Mateo's Gilded Garments in the Platinum District, who set up Ceallach with some fresh new threads for an evening out. Flynn went back to his roots and his training and sought out a magic shop within the city to gather a few new gifts for his friends and have some magical trinkets worked upon. And Oma headed back to Sunplume, where she reunited with Keeper and learned that some things that she has been looking for had been right here in Sunplume all along. But as we come back to Stillgate once more, it is early afternoon, so most of you are still pursuing your various downtime activities, and we come back to Mr. Ceallach as he is walking down the streets away from Mateo's Gilded Garments. Fresh new haircut and trim from Mateo's barber, having been sponsored by Mateo for you. You have 24 yellow roses in your arms.
Wait, they're two bouquets?
Oh, two huge. Oh, no, one.
Oh,
sorry,
geez.
One bouquet of 24.
24 roses. You have 24 roses. It's like this big across. It's huge. And they're big, like magically grown.
Love
They're
them.
like each of them are like that big around.
Hell
But
yes.
like dense. You know how some roses like flower and get big? These are like, they look like they're like very dense, but like just 3 times as big as a normal rose.
Hell yes.
Yeah, somebody's got a little druidic talent in the Platinum District and grows some very, very nice flowers.
Very good.
So Mateo knows everybody, because he's so shy. But yeah, so you were walking down with your new garb. I would say at this point it's probably like 3-4 in the afternoon or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll start with you. The day is yours. Where are you headed, bud?
Oh, man. I didn't know how early it would be. Didn't really have a plan for this. I guess I would. You mind if we just jump forward in time?
Yeah,
to
of
later?
course.
Because I think I said like 6 or 7.
Oh yeah.
To meet up, and I don't think I have anything. Like, I want
takes
to buy spell components, sort of, but I don't really care.
Yeah. You've got. I mean, you have all day tomorrow. You know that. Like, you guys have, as far as you know, you guys have some time before you actually have to be anywhere. In fact, you guys.
As a matter of fact, would you mind if we just say that I go shopping for the remainder of whatever time I
Yeah,
have
of
here,
course,
and then
absolutely.
maybe we can just talk about
we
what
can,
I bought?
Yeah, we can off table kind of talk about a couple of things. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
That
okay,
works.
yeah.
Yeah, of course, that works. We can definitely do that. And yeah, you can go and find, like, you're in the Platinum District, so the sort of like nicer items that you might, especially like the more expensive things that you might need to acquire, would definitely be in the Platinum Market here, in various stalls and things like that, or establishments that are well known.
Okay.
But yeah, we can kind of like as you finish up your shopping and gather the items that you need. So you're walking down the streets now. The sun is kind of beginning to set over the western horizon. Right, sun sets in the west. Yeah.
Yes,
In
it
Elbor.
does.
I don't know. I guess I could
Not
throw-
necessarily an Elbor,
Yeah.
as someone pointed out in the comments of episode 1.
Whoa! Wow. Okay.
Because like Shreya and Flynn were walking toward camp from
the
Oh
east.
my
and the
goodness.
sun was setting behind them or something in Ethan's description. Yeah.
Love
Anyways,
it.
sorry.
So someone was like, so apparently. No, that was probably just a mistake. The sun sets in the west. But so you could see it sort of like
Ethan was wrong. The sun
sets in the west. Yeah. I get to decide.
You heard it here.
There's no sign anymore.
Episode 161.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The sun has been
Finally
sundered.
established.
Yeah. But the sun sets in the west as the shadows across the districts here grow long. It is still wintertime, so the sun sets pretty early. And you see like people kind of going about. You see all kinds of different folks from the civic district like walking into the platinum district and done for the day, wrapping up their daily things. But you have in your hands like some bags and things like that with all of the things. You have your nice new coat, and you also have your huge bouquet of roses in one arm. As you make your way. Where are you headed when after your shopping is all done?
Just back to the where we were staying.
Okay, you guys are staying at the Monarch's
Monarch's
Right.
residence.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
For a
cool.
second, I was like, "Is it the Scholar's Rest?" But
Yeah.
wait, no. It's not. Yeah.
The Scholar's Rest is the inn where you guys were previously staying,
Yeah.
but now rooms have been set aside for you guys in the Monarch's residence. You get there, you go through all the necessary security protocols and things like that. Some of the things that you have are looked over and kind of prodded by some people, but a few minutes go by before you are allowed to head up into the Monarch's residence, and you enter into the opulent place of residence of Queen Isolde.
And about what time is it?
At this point, probably like 6:30, something like that.
Guess I'll look for Thessaly.
Okay, cool.
I am in. We're sharing a room, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I am in our room, and I have already So as soon as Ceallach told me that we were going dancing,
Yeah.
I immediately went back and I put on the doublet and made sure I looked really nice, did my hair, and then I am practicing probably the only dance I remember from my time at court and being a portraitist and trying to do some kind of waltz and trying to imagine where Ceallach would be and making sure, because I'm terrible. I've never been a good dancer, so I'm trying to make sure that I don't step on his toes this evening.
Amazing. So you come upon Thessaly as you open the door into your room, and they are probably in the middle of the
In the middle of
the room,
a little step. Yeah.
rehearsing. So you said Thessaly is wearing what now?
Oh, the doublet that I got from Hayfried's Boy, the
right.
doublet and pants.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would have had it, cleaned and pressed and all that stuff. And then I'm going to keep my hair in a French braid, but I would have washed it, rebraided it, and maybe even put some maybe a couple adornments in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Jordan could have very easily helped you with
Aw.
the pressing of the clothing
Thanks,
and all that
Jordan.
stuff.
What a guy.
Yeah,
What a time.
Jordan is very much kind of been at this point you realize kind of assigned to help you guys as well. His specialty is helping largely foreign dignitaries and people of import who are invited to stay
yeah.
in the Monarch's residence,
Right.
in addition to serving the monarch herself, themselves, I should say. So as you open the door, you see, and then Thessaly sees Mr. Ceallach, who looks very different. What is Ceallach wearing?
Well, maybe you should describe it.
So, okay, yeah, fair enough.
I don't think I can do it justice.
Right.
Opening the door, you see Ceallach in holding the flowers.
Literally,
and
the flowers would probably be the first thing.
first thing you see, yeah, right?
Be, big enough.
Huge bouquet of beautiful yellow roses. But as the bouquet kind of falls to the side, you can see that Ceallach is wearing this beautiful crushed velvet red coat with gold brocades. It's got kind of faint patterns on it that are very, very, very difficult to see, but kind of add this very subtle, almost shimmering look to the coat itself. Underneath of which is a white silk shirt with a very crisp collar that has been opened up a couple of buttons. Matteo was like, "You look too stiff." If you have it, so he opened it up for you.
I imagine we went back and forth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You were like, no, this button. He was like,
There's, like,
That's so funny.
yeah. He was like, no, so let's show the muscle. So you have a beautiful chest.
Oh my god.
You must show it. And Matteo is one of those people who has it
yes.
it's halfway
It's all the way down.
Oh, it's the deepest. Yeah.
The deepest of
He
these.
has beautiful bronze skin that he is on full display.
Display.
Right.
At all times with his string of pearls and everything.
Oh my
Of course.
But yeah, you see a white silk shirt that is tucked into very nice black pants that have like gold thread kind of down the sides, like piping down the sides of the legs. I think that's the right term. I'm not
I think
a
so,
seamstress myself. And then like into polished black boots that look very supple but very well made, and a nice ornate belt buckle as well that is like cinched at the waist and has everything. His amulet is still on display in the sort of, you can see the chain kind of going down. The amulet itself hidden under the silk shirt. And his hair is like combed and like styled from the barber a little bit. But yeah.
And if I may, also
Yeah,
a glove over the wound on my hand to just make it a little more presentable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. You have a black leather glove or something that is over the one hand. But yeah, you see Ceallach in the doorway.
I just stop like mid-step, and I'm speechless.
I too am speechless.
You.
Are you prac? Oh,
Well,
right.
I didn't want to step on your feet because that doesn't sound pleasant
well, that's
for you.
fine.
How many flowers are those?
Well, it didn't.
I can barely see. Oh,
It's hard. Well, yeah, sorry.
no.
Maybe I should. And I kind of like stumble into the room and put them down on the.
Looking for a vase. I'm like, Jordan?
Short time later. Yes.
Right away.
And he just disappears.
Thank you.
And if you wouldn't, I'll take. And I just take 2 of them out.
Oh yes, of course.
My plan was to, and I tried to sort of like fashion a corsage out of one of them, or out of both of them, and then I hand one to Thessally.
Take it.
I truly just asked for the 2, and he
Went
he
above
overdid
and
it.
beyond.
Yes, I compelled him by, well, it's hard to say why.
These are beautiful. Thank you.
Of course, I don't know. Everything's been so hard lately, and it's probably going to get worse, I think.
Probably, and I think difficult might be a bit of an understatement, but this is really lovely. You look lovely.
Thanks. I asked for a brown suit, and
Oh.
somehow we ended up here, so
Are you comfortable? Do you want?
no, it actually feels wonderful. It's a little much for me, but if you like it, then
You look quite literally stunning.
all right. Famir would be pleased.
Yes, she would.
Thanks. You as well. I truly didn't mean to. I hope this. I tried to explain to him how you would be dressed, so that it would be at least compatible.
Oh no, I think it'll
You look-
look quite nice together.
Lovely, as well.
Thank you.
Particularly like what you've done with your hair there.
I used to wear it like this a lot, and then fighting it got. I don't know. I just kind of stopped caring about it. Actually, I think was also the thing.
I was by the wayside amidst other things. Yeah.
But thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
So I have a bit of a plan. But
Right.
like I said, if it's not to your fancy, then we can do whatever else.
I've been practicing. I can do it, and I'm not going to step on your feet. With Fenrir as my. Don't help me out with that. Okay.
All right. Might be a misuse of her power, but also, you're
Well,
her
I feel like-
champion, so
Fair enough.
you can step on my feet. It's fine. I'll probably step on yours. I'm not a good dancer either. I think that's kind of the point of dancing,
Is to be bad at it?
is to be carefree.
Oh.
At least that's what I had this experience in this temple of Ceallach, where it was just like a raucous thing, this kind of mind-blowing event, and it kind of taught me something.
Goodness. Well, anytime I was ever at a dance, everyone had a stick up their ass about everything. It was just nobles, like they do a thing with it. So
I
I was
know.
trying to, and I do a couple like steps, but it doesn't seem comfortable at all. So what you're describing sounds much better. I
This,
hope you-
I think you may be pleased or at least surprised with the venue. We're not going to. I don't think anywhere you've been before.
Oh.
It's a place I've come to know by way of medicine, so I think you'll get it when we arrive. And then I guess I just kind of like stiffen up, and if you're ready, we can.
Yes, let's go.
Do you like to walk, or should I call a carriage?
Oh, we can walk. That's absolutely fine.
It's a nice night, so.
It is lovely. And I'll slip my hand into his if he'll let me hold his hand while we walk.
I'll take her hand and I will lead her toward the outs
All
to
right.
the last coin.
All right. So,
Last point. Okay.
you, the two of you, hand in hand, exit the monarch's residence, and you walk through the civic district, and eventually find yourselves at the one of the lifts that comes up and down the cliffs of Sildar. You take the lift down and find yourself kind of like at the border of the Shade Haven and the Anvil districts. There's actually kind of a central roadway that goes straight southward and kind of denotes the demarcation between those two districts. So as you walk down, you see the city kind of like coming to life. You see as people from the Anvil district who are the laborers and things like that are heading home for the evening, most of them actually crossing this thoroughfare in various ways or going up or north or south to head into the Shade Haven district where a lot of them live. And as you walk through, you can see like off in the side, various points of the Anvil district you cross occasionally, like large, almost like large sprawling complexes, and you can see big fluted columns with massive glass domes above them that are just now kind of like fading the last bit of the smoke and ash that is the byproduct of a lot of the industry here in Stillgate. But you see as the little errant elementals that are caught within them consume the last bits of the pollution and keep the city's air clean and clear. You can see all of these different peoples and walks of life who are all kind of, it's a very interesting mix. Like I said, simple laborers, you see merchants and things like that whose headquarters or places are within the Anvil district going about. You can hear people are carrying like bottles of wine and things like that and headed off to into the Shade Haven district where there are many things to be enjoyed, of course. But as you get further and further south, eventually you start coming upon the buildings begin to get more modest, a little bit smaller, not quite into the rougher parts of the outs, but kind of at the border, almost at the intersection where the outs, the Anvil district and Shade Haven district all meet. And eventually you see kind of off in the distance down the street, a pretty large building, mostly made from a combination of like the white stone wood or the white stone. Bits of it are wooden but painted white to sort of continue to blend
Gotcha.
in. And as opposed to the sort of like opulent like brass and gold trimmings that you often see up in the Civic District, instead you see wood that has been painted gold. But the building itself is well maintained, and there is like a small crowd kind of out front that appear to be like clamoring to get in. You can actually see there are quite a few people that are sort of heading in this general direction, and there is one figure that sticks out to you immediately as you approach. You can see like towering, probably a full head and shoulders taller than everybody else around him. You see a very broad-shouldered, blue-scaled dragonborn. You see an assortment of various like bits, like little pieces of scars and things like that. You see kind of like the aggressive frill that comes off back of the head, as well as the sort of horns that come up. You see the like hilt of not a sword, but like a wooden kind of hilt that is just like basically a massive stick, like a big cudgel that is like, strapped over his shoulder, and he's like mostly almost shirtless. It's like a vest that is just like over like two huge arms that are like kind of crossed, and he's just like he's like waving people in and things like that. You hear this kind of like deep, gravelly, gruff voice that I physically cannot do, but kind of this like, yeah, you're fine. Like it's just like
sounds
very,
good to me.
very deep.
That was pretty good.
And it's like, yeah, sorry. But as you guys approach, you kind of mingle in with that crowd, and you can see like there are mixed types here. There are some people who are dressed a little bit nicer that look like maybe merchants or things like that, who are, not opulently dressed or by any stretch of the imagination. But you also see like people who are very clearly like laborers who have like soot stains on their shirts and things like that, and they're all kind of like mingling and saying hi to one another as you approach. And you see a familiar figure who is in front, standing out in front, as is his usual post.
And as we get closer, Corey.
And hearing his name, the eyes sort of sweep over. Kellen! and he kind of pushes out of the way, just like uses his arms and like pushes over. And he's like, And he comes up to you and he like puts his big giant hand like on your shoulder and like shakes you. He's like, "It's
Hello?
been so long. How are you doing?
It's been a time, yeah.
What are you doing here?"
Oh, it's grand to see you well, Corey.
Thanks. I mean, no small part thanks to you, eh?
How's
And
the fingers? You got mobility back? Or?
and he like flexes his hand. You can see this like nasty scar that goes kind of across the palm of the hand and actually goes up and like across the fingers. And he's like, "Yep, still just as good to hurl people out of this place. They give me a hard time."
Occupational hazard.
Yeah, you know. And he's like just shrugs and he look at all the like various scars that are all across like his face and his arms and like he's seen a scrap or two, this guy. But he's like, "Who's the guest? What's your name?"
This is Thessally. Thessally,
Hi.
Corey.
Thessally. Great to meet you. Any friend of Ceallach's a friend of mine. I don't know if I'd be standing if not for this guy.
I think a lot of people can say that, actually.
Yeah, got stuck pretty good here one night. It didn't feel so hot, but, you know, thankfully he was around.
You've made a full recovery?
Oh, yeah. Good. I mean, I've been stuck a few times since, but, you know, not here. It's pretty safe here. It was kind of after. People get mad. Well, you know, when you throw people out and they've had too much to drink and then, like, they wait until you walk home and you're by yourself and then, like, 4 guys try to jump you, it's a bad time.
Right.
Yes.
Huh?
Only one too many for you, though, Corey.
Oh, yeah. I clean up nice, you know. Are you coming in?
Yes, is there any, is the band here tonight?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's bumping in there.
Grand. Could you pass word along to maybe, to have them do a waltz of some kind?
If you got it. And he turns around and he grabs another guy who's like opposite him, a slightly smaller half-orc. And he's like, he goes, "Hey, go tell the band to play something nice."
Love that. Love that.
Exactly
That's
right.
it. That's all he's like. And
That's all we needed.
and he says, "Say it's coming from Corey." And special request. And the guy just like doesn't say a word. "Yeah, all right." And he does. He goes, "All right." And then he just walks in. But Corey, he just kind of like puts his arm around you, and you hear a few people like, Corey, come on." He's like, "Hey, this guy's special." And he's there's a friendly banter between the people who are here and him for the most part.
I try my best to give them like a generous wave, but I'm blushing.
Of course. He's like, "Hey, nice threads."
Thanks. It's very new to me.
You look good, man.
Thanks.
You look real good. So where you been? It's been like a couple. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yes. All over, really. To Caldor and back.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that where you met this beautiful person?
Actually, yes. They found me there, I suppose you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They came by way of a mutual friend, and
Yes, I spent some time in Caldor and happy, but I'm from Ondel. Happy to be back. Happy to be with this one. So.
Well, I don't care where you're from as long as you're cool.
the coolest.
and at that word, you kind of pass through the threshold as you get through this crowd, and immediately, like a very bright, like jaunty tune, it just like washes over you guys. You hear the sound of like a nice, decent-sized crowd. There are people in here. You see a huge like dance floor where people are just dancing. Like there's no formality to it. There's no real like what's the word I'm looking for? There's no like rigidity or structure. It's just people just like mixing it up, having a good time. You see some people like spinning and crossing arms and like skipping in circles. You can see 2 bars that are opposite to either end of the establishment, like one on each wing of the thing. It spreads out quite a bit. The dance floor is quite large, and you see just like all kinds of different tables and things like that. And you can see people of very clearly like different walks of life who are all like at the same table, just like enjoying drinks together. And you see like a warm wooden atmosphere. It's pretty well lit. You see that there is a second story and there's like a mezzanine kind of area where that looks down onto the dance floor, and you can see people like, like I can't whistle, but they're like whistling, like doing that like, like punctuated whistling, like I can't do it. I can't do it.
Okay.
But like clapping in time with the band, and you see like a 4-piece band that is up on kind of an elevated stage in the back corner of the room. And they are just like, yeah, they're good actually, like quite good.
Yeah.
And it's more of like a very lively, like folksy tune, and all these people are dancing as you guys walk in. But he says, "Can I get you a drink? Would you like anything? I can go grab something if you want."
That would be lovely.
Great.
What's on tap, or I don't suppose there's tea?
I mean, well, you can figure it out if you want the tea. I know Trix always keeps a little bit of either coffee or tea kind of going for the inevitable at the end of the night. But
Right. What suits your fancy?
I'm okay with an ale.
Let's do an ale.
ales, can do. And he just like turns around. He's like, "Good to see you, man."
Oh, it's so lovely to see you, Corey. And I'm so glad you're doing well. I don't think I see any new scars, so I'm glad you're...
Oh, they're just under the vest.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's all right.
well, at least they're healing.
Yeah. And he pulls out, and he's got like a big bruise right there that's not quite healed all the way.
Yes.
But yeah, he's like, I'm doing all right. And he's like, "All right, I'll be back. Hey, have a good time."
I will try. Thank you.
Cool. And he turns around and yeah, he walks like, and people just move out of the way.
Yeah.
A lot of people like pat him on the back and things like that, like, "Hey, Corey," and you just hear his name kind of as he like marches through the crowd. And yeah, like people like, it's like waves parting for a big boat. Like people just kind of move out of his, I mean, he's probably like almost 7 feet tall. Yeah, he's a big boy. Big boy.
boy.
Probably
Boy.
like 7 feet,
Big boy.
like a good 320, 330, something like that. And like mostly muscle. He actually has a big tail too that like
yeah.
kind of goes behind him. And like at some point someone trips over. He's like, "Hey, watch the tail." And he's like, "I pass by, but I don't pass by." You know what I mean? So, and he like kind of disappears into the crowd. Although you can always see like shoulders.
Right.
part of the benefit of him being good at his job is he can see everything at all times.
Right.
But yeah, you guys are as the band kind of like this merry tune. Eventually does kind of come to a close, and you hear like everybody's like "woo," and like everybody claps and people cheers and drink. And then you hear as the band begins to break into something a little bit slower, and you see as like the kind of like raucous percussion instrument like just takes on like a very gentle like tapping, as a guy with like a well-loved cello starts to kind of like strum on that, and you see as the musical accompaniment kind of swells with it, and you see as always like several people like take this time to gather their breath, and you see people like sweating and like like having a good time, but a lot of people kind of leave the dance floor and leave it as couples tend to partner off and begin just kind of slowly again just moving. There's no like real formality to it necessarily.
Shall we?
Yeah, if you'd like.
What? You should lead though, because I'm not confident in this at all.
I can. You learn a lot of things to become a kaji. One of those. You got to make nice with rich people at the temple.
Take dance lessons.
Yeah, a little bit. Not from a master, but I know a thing.
Lead the way.
All right. And I'll take their hand. I'll offer my hand and
Yeah, I'll take it.
lead them onto the dance floor and put my hand around their waist and begin to lead them in a waltz.
You sort of grab hands together and you join into the gentle, like sort of sway of the music. The lighting in the place, everything like goes a little bit dim, and you can see like the conversation hushes a little bit as still there's like this dull rumble of just like people chatting and conversing. But yeah, it's like this sort of very gentle, lovely melody just suffuses the space, and you guys dance. You begin to swirl around one another.
I do. So at first, I'm probably like trying to be very aware of my footsteps, and then as I'll kind of like ease into, and also letting Ceallach lead is probably helping.
He's quite good. He's quite good, actually.
So,
There are social graces that need to be observed for members of the clergy, and Ceallach,
Wow.
Ceallach, got a rug.
Hey.
and then if
Flat on my knees.
he'll let me, I'll just lean in so that we can like dance cheek to cheek.
And I'll just savor that. And after a little bit, I'll just whisper softly, so much of what we do, we just have to be focused and clear and precise and can't fail, can't err. I just want a moment for us to escape all that.
It's kind of a perfect moment. I like not having to think so much about what to do next.
And rather than interrupt that with any more words, I just continue to lead the dance and carry on through the end of the melody.
Yeah, it goes on for a while. At some point, when you kind of turn appropriately, yeah, like you're kind of just slowly swaying with the music, and you turn and you see Corey's like walks up to the band, and he's just like, and he like yeah, keep it going. And then he makes eye contact with you, and he kind of points, and he goes right. He points, and there's like kind of a secluded little booth in the corner, and he sets the cups down for you guys, and he's just like. and
keep it playing.
Keep
going. More.
He gives you a little extra time for the next couple of minutes.
And I'll gradually sort of like pull my cheek back, and I'll just put my nose to Thessaly's nose and rest my forehead against theirs.
I think we've got a drink over there. You want to go take a seat?
Aye, unless you want to wait till they break into a faster tune.
Well, I'm kind of afraid we'll hit a rush if that's the case. I have a feeling that everyone's going to come back to the dance floor.
Yes, they will. They will. All right. Yeah, let's go have a drink.
All right. I'll walk over.
Awesome. The two of you guys sort of leave the dance floor. And shortly thereafter, seeing the two of you leave, and you get a couple of like comments. None of them sound like there's no malice behind any of them. You generally get a few like, nice coat. Like a couple of people like who compliment your vestments.
As they should.
Right.
And like
we're
I said,
looking
in a
good.
different place in
Look
the
at
Alps,
fly.
it probably would have a little bit of like,
Yeah.
it would be cutting like, what, you think you're better than us?
Not at the last corner,
But
baby.
here, and this is like a weirdly, and Ceallach, of course, you know this from having come here. It's a something about it being at this juncture between these three very different districts of the city. It is a place where a lot of people just kind of come together. But very quickly after you guys leave and you sit at your booth, the band very quickly like, all right, and then you hear like and then like the clapping.
And do people like come back on
Oh yeah, like people like whoosh, go back in, and you see people who have blotted the sweat from their brows and are ready for
break.
another round. Refilled on drinks, and you guys are able to sit in the secluded booth in the corner that Corey has apparently cleared out for you. And you begin to savor the ales that Corey has brought for you. We are going to come back to the two of you and the rest of your evening, and we are going to swap over to Mr. Flynn.
Oh,
So, Flynn, you early in the afternoon have finished up your business at the Inky Black Kettle, having met the two gnomish proprietors and owners and dropped off a few things for them. I know you did say, I believe that you were going to like spend some time reading. Was there anything specific that you're going to try to get after?
I think for the most part, I'm going to spend my time, and I believe I was in the gardens relaxing. I'm just going to spend the time going over the bestiary, going over all the Ironlight stuff that I've written in there, and all the monsters forms of fighting, and kind of just refreshing myself on the basics.
Cool.
I am still a little exhausted from what has happened, but I will kind of review something that I've never really done with that stuff, is kind of just review the Ironlight.
Cool.
The bestiary I think is what I'll go into mainly.
Cool. All right. As you were walking through your books, you do you find one in there. It's kind of it's a very small tome, and it kind of got like bound up between the rest. One that you've had, I think, since your last sojourn here in Stillgate, if I remember correctly. But you see this sort of small, dark green tome that has on the spine a history of northeastern Ondale that you have not read.
Okay. Seeing that book, I will shut my bestiary, set it aside, and
Trust not the Sentinel's guy.
Yeah.
I'll dive into the history of Ondale, you said?
Yeah, history of northeastern Ondale is what
I'll dive into that book, and I'll kind of flip through it.
And as you go through it, you see a number of different accounts. It's kind of again a historical treatise. It has a few different sections of different parts of northeastern Ondale. There is some information about Keed. There is some information about Craydon Fort and its construction. You see information about Saddlemount and East Haven as well. Some different little historical factotums, like who founded the towns, how long they've been there, and you get to the section that discusses the history of Estergrove Forest. And as you're reading through, you come to learn about the city that used to inhabit the synonymous or eponymous, I think is the same name.
Eponymous?
Eponymous, yeah, I think that one. The city of the same name that once existed within the woods. And you see it was mostly elven enclave within Estergrove, sort of old growth forests in the middle. Started as a relatively small village, but thanks to the wealth of resources there in Estergrove, slowly over time began to expand. As well as there are actually a series of small rocky foothills that exist, kind of that bisect the middle of Estergrove, and there was relatively rich mineral wealth within those as well. And as you're kind of going through, you find a page that is almost done in the margins. You see someone has written in an additional bit of information.
Okay.
Because you get to the section where it says, basically it talks about how Estergrove was destroyed in some sort of cataclysm or attack, but it doesn't really go into any detail whatsoever. It's kind of just a blank page before it moves into the next one. As this is again, it's a very small tome, and you almost, as you're reading it, it almost kind of brings to mind it's a relatively elementary text,
Sure.
if that makes sense. But penned underneath that section, you see text. It says, "I remember that night. How could I forget? How could anyone? Estergrove's downfall is etched into my memory forever, blazing with the bright flames of dragonfire and arcane destruction. I witnessed the devastating events that unfolded on that cursed eve. I was in the oak heart when the sky tore open, when the flames fell from their red dragon mount's open maws, and my peaceful home was consumed in dragonfire. I was there when the screams started. The night echoed with the calamity as the invaders fell upon Estergrove, driven by their mission to eliminate the Githyanki who had once aided the Iron Light. Thandoriel Cardinal and the other sentinels fought valiantly against the Githyanki horde. Yet despite the resistance mounted by the collective, the city succumbed to ruin, its once beautiful towers and tree-lined roadways reduced to smoldering rubble and ash. The destruction was absolute, a testament to the unrelenting fury of the invaders. In the aftermath, a pall of sorrow and blame hung heavy over us. We were displaced and shattered, our homes gone, and all of us looking for someone to blame. Many pointed accusatory fingers at the Iron Light Collective. Whispers of betrayal and collusion with the Githyanki tainted the memory of the secretive order, casting them as architects of our collective downfall. Funny how soon admiration can turn to hatred when circumstances turn against us. Even I can't help but wonder, sometimes, are they to blame? History, I suppose, will tell. Though from the songs I hear the children sing, I do not think history will be kind to the Sentinels."
Yeah, I'll read it again to verify it. Kind of shake my head.
You recognize the name, Cardinal?
Yeah. I'll shut the book, and I'll pack up, actually. And I'll spend the rest of the evening going to where I know to look for symbols and signs that there's a sentinel in the city. And I'll spend the rest of the day, because I need to talk to someone about this that might know about and can verify. I'm going to look to see if I can find a sentinel.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me. You're still, so you're at
I'm exhausted. One level.
Exhausted, one level, and You are suffering a -2 penalty to all of your D20 rolls because of the basically kind of the effects of
Sure.
Zarel's severing of the bond.
I'm at disadvantage.
So yeah, disadvantage and then -2 to the
-2 on
total.
that.
Pretty rough. Pretty rough.
Pretty
that
rough.
that penalty will go down to -1 tomorrow.
You said investigation.
Sentinel check.
Investigation.
Do I have anything that can help with this? I don't think so. That's fine. It is what it is.
You can do it.
You got this.
-2.
So it's a 9 plus 2 minus 2. So a 9.
9.
You walk through the streets of Stillgate, starting in the Civic District and then kind of making your way out towards the Parchment District, thinking that that's probably, the best place to go. And you kind of wander the streets for a few hours. You see the Parchment District come alive. You actually pass a really cool kind of area where you see a lot of young people dressed in various robes. You see people that are between the ages of 18 to 24, almost a ton of them. And they're all laughing and wandering around as you pass kind of a section of the Parchment District where most of the students of the various institutions of learning come for their evening nightlife. But unfortunately, after several hours and the sun goes down, you're not able to find any of the telltale signs that to look for to find the presence of a sentinel.
Yeah, I'll just feeling tired, even more so now that the sun's down.
Yeah,
I'm
the
realizing it's
exhaustion
time
starts to get you.
Yeah, I'll start heading back.
Okay.
And I'll just be holding that book.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just head back to the manor or
Cool. All right.
get rest.
Yeah. You bed down for the evening pretty early. Your feet bottoms of your feet sore from wandering around the city a little bit.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, no one to unburden these thoughts that you have with you at the
Where's
present
Thaddeus
moment.
when you need him?
Right.
Aw.
When I get back, there's no one else at the house but me.
When you get back that evening, no. Mm-mm, yeah, you're alone. 'Cause he's going to be gone for a while, and they're...
Sorry, buddy.
No, that's okay. Man, I don't know if there's anyone else I would ask. It's too late. I'll just go to bed.
Okay.
Maybe I'll try and wake up early in the morning.
Okay, cool.
Find a library or something.
All right, sounds good. We will then cut away and we'll pop over to Alma. What's she doing? Over in Sunplume as we
Yeah.
as we
that's right. You're not
as we jump
Not even in the same- not even in the
several
same
hundred.
city.
Actually, I wonder if I can hang on. How far away?
And it's ran
do
away.
it.
Because I
think-
finally figured out the scale of this
You
app.
need to tell me what the
You
skill
know
is.
what I
Doing
mean?
Alma
Like I
thing.
finally
I
figured out.
approximated one
Yeah.
for M-Core, but
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's not that far actually, because the way that the peninsulas are sort of stuck together. So you're probably about a little over 200 miles to the west. Because the peninsula that Stillgate is on, and then the peninsula that Sunplume is on the northern edge of, kind of curl up towards each other just a little bit.
Wee bit.
So yeah, you're not actually too terribly far away.
by water.
By water it would be a pretty quick journey
Yeah.
actually. But yeah, by land it would be a long way because you have to go down.
Yeah,
and then around
exactly.
the bay.
Yeah.
So it would be several days by
But by water.
But by water it'd be quick. But yeah, as we pop over to Olma, you have. You've had your conversation with Griff,
Yeah.
and as you've both kind of allowed the reality of what he has told you
Mm-hmm.
to settle in, how does Oma, after the few minutes of whatever it is, I don't know if it's just awkwardness or shared grief, how does Oma react? What does she do?
Well, I think what we ended with last episode was that they did start training.
Right,
So
yeah.
they did
Oh,
start
that's true.
training in
True,
the
thank
in
you.
the how to
Yeah. Starts basically training you in the ways of survival.
survival. Yes, and how he
kind of
tracks
navigates the
things
woods.
and, yeah.
Yeah. So he kind of using the
And he
opportunity.
made me a bow.
Yeah, and you have
Oh,
so
yeah.
actually you have in your possession a +1 short bow.
Ooh,
Ooh.
a magical bow.
Wow.
Mm.
Magical bow of fatherhood.
The power of fatherhood.
That's what we will call it.
There you
Jerry.
go. But yeah, you have a short bow that he has
Okay.
made for you.
Cool.
And yeah, you guys spend the afternoon. So it's kind of as the sun sets
Yeah.
in Stillgate, we come over to Sunplume, where the sun also setting is the cold of this far north kind of begins to set in, and the light begins to fade, and you guys head back towards Sunplume.
Yeah.
He normally kind of hangs out around the the Guardian's Watchtower, where you found him, but he leads you, like he kind of turns to you at one point. Well, I don't live here. And he points at the big tower.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's rooms in there.
It's like bunks, but they kind of
Mm-hmm.
suck.
So where do you live then?
And he kind of like points, because this Guardian's Watchtower is like up on a rise. And he points into town. And he points towards a section of the town that's kind of like closest to this edge. And you see he points down at like looks like a little row of some smaller houses that are across the street from one of the bigger buildings in town. You can see now like the warm light beginning to pour out of the windows of this place. But he's like right down there, right across from the timbered bed. It's one of the inns in town.
Oh. How come you live there instead of at my house?
Well, it was your great grandmother's house. I don't know. After they left, it was hard to go in there.
But you did live there.
No, I never lived there. Yeah, I never lived there.
Oh. I just thought everyone lived there together.
Your family all did. The family, everybody lived there. But no, your mom spent a lot of time at my house and a lot of time there.
Oh. I thought families lived together.
They do. They do. And yeah. Yeah, usually they do. Your mom and I didn't live together.
I don't understand.
Yet we were working towards it.
Oh. I don't really understand.
Oh boy. And he kind of like scratches his like thick beard, like he's like,
Because Ceallach and Thessally already lived together.
Oh no. Oh.
And we all lived together.
yeah. I was welcome, and I was over there a lot.
Yeah.
But your mom and I were pretty young when everything happened.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom was a little younger than me, not much, but and I wanted to marry her. It just hadn't happened yet.
Oh.
That's my fault. I was trying to, find the right time.
Right.
But just because I didn't live with your mom, I wanted to. But your great grandmother was pretty protective. And, well, she cared about your mom a lot. Sometimes it didn't seem like she was too keen on me, to be honest.
Hmm. Okay.
Are you all right?
Yeah. fine. I think I need to go figure out some stuff with Keeper though. And you know, there's a little drow boy at my house, and I gotta make sure he's okay.
Oh my God.
and-
Yeah, Nalthane?
Yeah, that's his name.
He's interesting kid.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gone through some stuff. But I should go and, you know, check on them and make sure that everything's okay there and...
All right. Do you wanna go out again tomorrow, or?
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
All right. This is weird because you're so young, but your house is bigger than mine, and do you need anything?
No, we're good. Do you need anything?
I'm good.
Yeah. I don't need anything. I'm good. Keeper takes care of the house and they're really nice to me and have
Okay.
everything I need there.
And it's safe?
Yeah, very safe. Like super duper safe.
Okay.
This is like a magic house, so I mean.
Wow. I never knew that.
I mean, there's not like. It's not like the furniture is magical and like it moves. It's just a magic house, and it's not like the house talks to me, but it's just
Oh my God.
it just can protect itself.
That's wild.
It's pretty cool.
Maybe sometime you can show me.
Yeah.
Because I never knew it was magic.
Well, Keeper can show us. They're the ones that does it, but
Okay. Bye?
yeah, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Okay. I'll see you in the morning. I'll wait for you at the tower?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll go out again, and you can teach me how to use this bow.
Sounds good. Be safe.
You too. And I guess like just knock if you need anything.
Same goes for you.
Huh?
All right. See ya.
Bye.
You guys just like turn away.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like watches you walk down the street because you're kind of like near as you guys have been walking into town. He's you kind of split off and
Mhm.
yeah, you just watch him head towards his house, and you see him kind of look over his shoulder every now and again, just like shake his head and like no idea. He's so out of this poor guy's so out of his depth.
Sorry.
But that's all right. He like you see him like go to his he's heads off in the direction of his house. But yeah, what does Oma do now?
Yeah. Oma, I think I just like need time to process everything
Yeah.
and just needed to kind of exit the situation. And
Yeah.
I don't really care if Nalfane's at the house.
Okay.
Nalfane doesn't
Yeah,
need me.
Seth got the sense that Oma needed some space. But yeah, okay. Well, what do you do?
Yeah, I do want to head back to the house.
Okay.
And just check in and probably grab something to eat, but
Cool.
but like listen to hear if Nalfane's in the
Mhm.
house.
Cool. Okay. As you listen, you do you don't hear anything from him. But as you come in, you can see that Keeper is like cleaning up the remnants of some kind of an evening meal. But there is a plate and portion like set aside that is like that has been kept warm for you, and like a big tall mug of water and it's kind of just like sitting there on the table. He turns. And he's got like a little apron on.
Keeper's just like taking care of two
Yeah.
teenagers.
He is a keeper. That is his job. But yeah, he turns. He's like, "Hello, Oma.
Hi, Keeper.
Are you quite all right?"
Yeah. It's been a really weird day.
Oh, how so?
Nope, don't want to talk about it right now. It's been a weird day.
Okay.
I think I just want to think for a little bit.
Okay. Would you like me to prepare the downstairs study, or would you prefer to
Actually, do you mean Lady Alexandra's study?
Yes, it's often where she would go to think and ponder.
That would be great. Can I take my food there?
Of course, it is your house after all. Your rules. And he he goes
a vein in his head. His mechanical head.
Don't get crumbs on
scoops up the food for you, and he traipses upstairs. You go to the end of the hall where the sort of like false doorway is, and then the secondary staircase that leads down into the basement.
Yeah.
And you see there the sort of plinth, and he walks over and does the necessary incantations. Suddenly the walls kind of fold up, and you see as the room expands beneath you. You see the plinth kind of there in the middle, and Seeker, you're not here. Keeper does the necessary incantations, and you see as the walls kind of raise, except for the third one. He walks over and he gives a little kick, and it goes back up. But you see as the room kind of like opens up, and you see Alexandra's study. You can see the various shelves down here, and all the various tomes and journals and all the different things that were gathered here that you guys, when you were last down in this space where you found out some things about your family's history. And you can see like all manner of now, inert like alchemical things, and a few different like instrumentations and a bunch of different tools and sets of different all kinds of different tools and magical components and things like that are down here. It looked like, it seems that having a sort of human's disposition but with an elf's lifespan has set Lady Alexandra to acquiring many, many, many skills over her very, very long life. And so you can see like alchemist tools and forger's tools and like all kinds of different like things down here that look like she was adept at. But yeah, you find yourself in your great-grandmother's study.
Awesome. Man. That's all going to come in handy one day. I think... Thanks so much, Keeper.
You're very welcome. Call me if you need me to take away... and he like sets all of your food down on like a little table off to the side. Of course, if you should need anything, merely speak my name and I'll hear you.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And he kind of looks at you and then just turns and leaves.
Cool.
There's a moment of like where he looks like he may want to check in, but he recalling you said, I don't want to talk about it. He makes himself scarce. And you find yourself alone down here.
Yeah, I want to kind of like spend some time walking around the room looking at everything and kind of just like putting myself in Alexandra's shoes of like being like, oh wow, what if I just had all of this for all of this time and kind of what it would be like to grow up here and to have had them around, like to teach me these things. And slowly make my way over to the books area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You kind of wander around and you draw your hand along the sort of like glassware of the alchemical sort of section of this laboratory. You see notes and sheafs of papers. You see like various paints and quills and all kinds of different writing utensils and things like that, and like or stamps and different like what are those things, like wax seals that look like they are able to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like carved and made. You basically see like a forgery kit that is over here in one of these corners. This family moving around from place to place maybe had to be able to falsify some records from now and again. You also find like what looks like thieves' tools and a bunch of different kind of like implements of various trades and crafts. You walk through just like touching all of them. They all appear to be, some of them have, faint bits of like rust on them and things like that, or dust. Actually, no, they wouldn't. Keeper would have cleaned it all up. So they all actually look very pristine now, just as they probably were left. And eventually you find your way over to these big shelves full of books and various journals, and most of them are unmarked. They're maybe numbered, if anything. Some of them have dates and things like that on them. You see there in front of you, do you start kind of pulling things out?
Yeah, I do want to look for mentions of basically anything about Corvin Amberstone, and things that were like with a focus on like anything Alexandria or like they might have known about him and the places that were important to him, things that were important to him, to kind of help identify what and where a phylactery might be or look like or anything like that.
Go and roll an investigation check for me. I will say, because you have quite a bit of time, I'll go ahead and say make it with advantage for me.
Yay! Yay!
Nice.
Buddy.
Oh, it's so hard to make deals with the devil.
If it isn't, there consequences.
I'm living up to our name. Just of exhaustion.
Woo! Natural 20.
Oh,
Crit,
all
crit.
right.
Damn it.
The other one was
I have a vein in my
the other one was a 9.
No way.
So for investigation, that makes that a 22.
Okay.
Would you add 2 as well?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's amazing. Amazing.
Great.
Pretty good.
Well, as you sit down, and it's like you kind of hit like a flow state, almost
Yeah.
meditative, but in a
Mhm.
different way than you're maybe accustomed to, as opposed to the sort of like disciplined, like sitting there trying not to think. It's a very active kind of a meditation where you're reading and trying to parse these things together. And as you begin to read, a picture kind of begins to reveal itself of a few different disparate pieces of information. You find in various entries, I mean, you read a lot of mundane stuff that you kind of, can skim through or skip. But a few things begin to come to light. You see that Lady Alexandra, and I believe you confirmed this before, but even more so, you see lots of accounts of the island.
Yep.
Sightings, scraps of paper, accounts that are taken from other texts and references, a lot of history books and things like that that are referenced. But you see lots of those. We have also established that when you guys first kind of discovered it and started working on this, there was what appeared to be some sort of kind of pattern to its movements. You think that this information would help in identifying, in like getting closer to a solve on the nature of the pattern in which the island moves.
So these books will be a solve.
will be helpful in determining that. You also see scattered throughout many of the journals, a history of Corvin Amberstone's movements over the last couple of centuries.
Snap.
A few things come to light. Corvin, throughout the last several centuries, has led a number of expeditions into the wastes.
Ooh, okay.
It's also noted that Corvin appeared to have an obsession with a figure that I'm not sure if Oma would have heard of, but you see the Lich King Prixhag.
Ooh.
Prixhag. He even traveled, and it's noted that he even traveled to the site of the king's former domain.
Prixhag?
Prixhag. 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 And he even, from what Lady Alexandra gathered, he even led an expedition to the islands off of the western coast of Kaldur, where Prixhag's domain once resided. There's not a lot of information about the Lich King in here, but you see that. You also find details of your family's movements over the last several centuries.
Okay.
You see that they most recently were in Seldom Height, which I need to pull up my map. But basically, like, your family has moved far and wide across Elbor. Seldom Height is a relatively small fishing village on Somerton Island, far off the east coast of Ganboldir, between the Freywood and Ganboldir. Seldom Height. Yeah, just like those two words put together. Seldom Height. That was where they were most recently, which is like almost as far east as you can get before you're in the Freywood. And before that, they were in Sulkport. Before that, they actually had a brief stint in Westreach. And then New Point Harbor before that, which is like the far northwestern corner of the continent. So they have literally moved
Yeah, all over the place.
hundreds, almost thousands of miles at a stretch. And like those are the movements that you're able to see over the last couple of centuries. And then you find a journal entry. The date on the journal entry is the 21st of Ildurium 7268, which is about oh boy, I got to do math in my head. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 200 years ago.
268.
About 200 years ago or so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not 200. I'm sorry. No, it's 7285. So this is like the current year is 7,285. So this was 68, like 17 years ago.
So it's 7,000.
Dang.
268, yeah. So 7268, and the current day is 7285. So this is like 17 years ago.
Okay.
And you read. It has been many years since I last sensed Corvin's presence, his relentless pursuit of me seemingly slowed to a crawl if not halted entirely. For so long, his shadow loomed over our every step, every decision we've made. I began to piece together the reasons for this change, and though I am not yet certain, I believe I am on the verge of uncovering the truth. My suspicions have led me to the region near Oakenspire, a place I have long avoided. It is here I suspect that Corvin has found refuge. The political landscape of Oakenspire has shifted in recent years, an inexplicable surge in influence by certain factions. I cannot shake the feeling that Corvin, ever the master of deception, has embedded himself within the very heart of Oakenspire's governance. By securing a position of power within Oakenspire, he would not only gain the protection of its walls, but also the resources to further his own ends without drawing too much attention. This would explain the sudden decrease in his efforts to find me. Perhaps he believes himself safe, his focus diverted to other schemes, or perhaps he is simply biding his time, waiting for the right moment to strike. For now, I must tread carefully. If Corvin truly is in Oakenspire, my presence there could undo everything. But if I am correct, this could also be the opportunity I've been waiting for, to find him before he finds me. If only I could determine where he keeps his God's damned phylactery.
Wow.
Okay.
And you get insight that shortly in the years leading up to her death, your great-grandmother believed that Corvin was somewhere in near the city of Oakenspire.
In Ganbaldir.
In
Sorry,
in Caldor.
In Caldor. Okay,
Mhm.
Oakenspire and Westreach. Just
Yeah, Oakenspire, capital of Caldor.
Yep, that's
Westreach,
right. Okay.
capital of Ganbaldir.
Got it,
and
got it, got
Stillgate, capital of Ondale.
Yeah.
okay.
And over the few hours that you were looking
Yeah.
through everything, that's kind of the information you're able to piece together.
Yeah, and I'm piecing together that she was never able to identify what the phylactery was.
She couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
But as you kind of like read that last journal entry, you like look, you kind of suddenly kind of come out of that weird fugue state you've been in as you've been reading, and you realize like your eyes are all sandy. It's late. You've been up for hours, like combing through all these books.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to put them all away.
Okay.
And like trudge my way with my plates.
You got
Back
your,
up
you
to-
got your dishes. As you turn to look for them, you don't see them. Keeper must have come down here silently.
At some point, I
Removed
was, like,
and
so
you were
invested.
so invested. Yeah, he came down here and cleared it all away
Yeah.
for you.
And like make my way back up to my bedroom.
Cool. All right. And as you sort of plod up the stairs, your tiny feet hitting the steps, walk into your giant 4-poster bed in your room. And do you just
Yeah, just
Starfish
I
on
think I
there?
lay down first and I like just stare at the ceiling for a little bit because I'm just thinking of like everything from the whole day, just like how much information
Big day for
overload.
Alma.
Yeah,
big aroma?
and I'm just gonna look down at the green gem, and I'm gonna curl up onto my side and I'm gonna bring it close to my face and I'm just gonna like hold the ring as I kind of drift off to sleep.
On your way to sleep. And the exhaustion, like you fall asleep quickly. Over the emotional turmoil of the day,
Gosh,
taking
yeah.
a toll on little Alma's heart.
Yeah.
And you
What a
very quickly
day.
find your way to sleep. The memory crystal tucked against your cheek. And as we return to the two of you, cuddled into your, and Oh, don't worry. I'm coming for you later. But the two of you cuddled into your, or rather, secluded in your nook, your corner nook inside of the bar. You guys, have, had your drinks, and I'll leave it up to you. What have you been doing for the time?
Just talking, I think.
Yeah, just like, I think sharing, we spend so much time like fighting things and like saving each other's lives.
Yeah.
That I think like I would just share a little bit. Like I'd probably start babbling a little bit about what the balls that I went to in Ondale used to look like and how different this is and how, like I really enjoy that. And I'm grateful that he brought me here. And just kind of like trying to unearth a little bit more of that. When two people are dating each other, kind of normalcy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it's pretty soon still, but how have you been feeling since everything with Vasen?
Well,
You toss a bit in your sleep.
I have to blame Fenra and Ayana for that. I feel like that's mostly them.
Yes, yeah.
I don't have any qualms or regrets about Vasen or Fane. They were terrible. And I do believe that Elbor is a better place without them. But the news from today shook me a little bit. I really had not realized that Auden had survived.
Well, what about the other two?
None of my family. Ceallach and I checked the records.
No,
Oh?
Sorry, I meant Svara. Hadrick.
Oh, that's a problem. That's a big problem. But I don't really know what we do about that. I would like to bring them to justice.
I suppose we can devote some time to that once we're done with all this outcast business.
It might be. I'm assuming that they went back to the borders of Kaldor. That would just make the most sense. That'd be where they're most protected.
Aye.
If they were in Ondalian soil, that would be quite stupid of them.
Yeah, pretty unsafe. Although they're crafty.
Although I don't know what their punishment would be in failing that endeavor, but
Nor do I. But and I'll reach out and grab their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Could also just leave it to someone else. If we defeat the outcast, we save Elbor. And I know that you're probably right. The world probably is better without Fane and Voss and probably Svara and Hadrix too. We only get so much time. I'd like to spend more of it like this.
I would too.
It's a line. I also know that when you're gifted, like, well, we are, there comes certain duties. It's just a thought.
I appreciate the thought. I asked Fenra when I had that dream where she made me her champion. Still don't like saying that, feels kind of icky.
Uh-huh.
That if there could be a point where I get to go home, wherever that is, whatever that means, to not constantly be doing this. But the amount of people that Savar and Hadrix have made suffer,
Aye.
that has to be met with something. And you're absolutely right. I feel a responsibility with the power that I have now to be able to enact that. I've taken my revenge. I don't feel the need to be executioner anymore. But they should be brought to justice. Savara specifically is sadistic. I would not want... Wherever she is, she's going to find people to harm.
Yes, she's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, she's very dangerous, and she's cruel as well. Hadrix, I have further thoughts on, but, Oh, what is it you said? Everyone has, the power to be redeemed? I don't think that's true of Savara. I don't think she wants it. He might.
Aye. Well, we'll give her the chance. Maybe.
Sure. Just offer it so she can stick a pin in it like it's a butterfly.
Well, it's not exactly the, segue
Evil.
Aye. Sorry,
No, it's a fair question. I think what I did that day unsettled you a little bit, did it not?
Of course. But, I understand. I know that there is evil in the world. I know that. And yet, it must be expunged. That's why I became a follower of Famir, and, well, that's why I thought I became a follower of Famir in the first place. It's to try and get rid of evil.
And it's quite a good thing to be in. I think that evil takes many forms. Ceallach, I ask you this because I really do want an answer, not because I'm trying to evoke anything from you. Would you be able to forgive the person who killed Olma in front of you?
I don't know. But I would try to. It's not that Vasen is dead. It's not that I regret that Vasen is dead. Or Fane, even. I regret that the blood is on your hands, Thessally. I regret that so much of your life was consumed with this pursuit. I wonder if that's what your family would have wanted for you. Or if they would have just wished you to have a happy life without blood.
I think they would have wanted that. They're not here to tell me. And while I understand what you're saying, Vasen did what he did. So did Fane, so did everyone else. All I could control was how to react to that. And I feel better having been the one to take his life. And I'm all right if that changes the way that you see me. Because in that moment, just for a moment, not for the rest of it, but for that moment, to unfuck up everything he did. I wish I'd gotten to stab him in the chapel the night when he tried to kill my family. When he succeeded in killing me. I wish it had been an attempt. But I do feel better because of it. I've said this before. I'm not always a good person.
Nobody is. It does sadden me to hear that. But I understand. Some things can't be undone.
No.
I guess if you can Give yourself some relief from that for but a moment. Yes, that's good. To every life we take, whether you know it or not, it marks your soul. I want you to know peace. I hope that you'll let me help you with that.
I will. I want that. I do. I want the same for you. I don't cherish each life I take. I'm sure that goes without saying.
Of course.
But I will also say the lives I regret taking the most were while I was in service to that vile creature.
Of course. That's natural.
I think that'll be the hardest thing to make peace with. If ever.
Every day we can start again.
One day at a time.
There's something else I'd like to show you.
Oh?
If you don't mind, if you're not too tired.
Not at all.
I think you'll really like it.
All right.
And I will take their hand and lead them out and head toward Shadehaven Park.
Okay. On the way out, you hear a voice. Bye, Ceallach.
Take care, Corey.
Will do.
Go easy on the knuckles.
No promises.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Thessally. You just see this giant guy like waving in the crowd.
Love him.
What a guy.
But you two head out and make your way northward before turning east. And before you know it, the houses and the various buildings of Shadehaven District kind of fall away, and you see before you a lush, verdant expanse open up as you see Shadehaven Park. Nearly 2 miles long and about 1.5 miles wide is this just beautiful, lush garden that resides in the middle of Shadehaven District. You see like carefully manicured pathways and bits of flowers and trees. You can see that there are other people here kind of mingling about and that sort of thing. You lead Thessally through the pathways. As you go, you see water features, and you eventually pass the shaded run that is this sort of like winding brook that varies anywhere between like 5 to as much as 50 feet wide, where it deepens and broadens out. And you pass over a collection of like white marble arched bridges that kind of go over the water features and the various streams and brooks that wind their way through until eventually
Get to the sanctuary.
you arrive at the sanctuary.
Oh.
So, would you like to describe?
No, you go for it.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Okay. As you kind of come around the corner of the trees, you can see up ahead of you something that is faintly, just like very faintly glowing. And you come down this like winding pathway that's like this sort of like, it's almost like a gravel made from the same white stone, but very, very fine. So you can hear this faint crunch of your steps. What are your guys' passive perceptions? 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay.
Cleric.
Boy. Perceptive.
16. Not
16.
bad.
Okay. As you guys walk up, Ceallach, you clock like out of the corner of your eye like a flash of bronze. As you see a Steam Stride Warden that is like off in the distance, plenty of space, but is kind of like keeping an eye on you guys.
Oh.
And as you walk forward, you see that people, they're like all the pedestrians and the people that have
Mhm.
gathered
Yeah.
here, that you see is like there's no more people suddenly. It's just the two of you. And you see ahead of you this sort of like faintly glowing section of trees. And as you get close, you can't really see what it is. It's like up in the boughs and things like that. But then you get closer and you see resolving itself, these flitting shapes in shades of blue and green as butterflies wind inward and outward through a sort of big copse of these towering oak trees. And you just see this sort of like effervescent, faint, bioluminescent wings of all of these like thousands of butterflies that just sort of flit gently along in the trees. And you enter into this space, and beneath it all, you see thousands of flowers. And you kind of enter into this area of this sort of suffused blue-green light as you see the gentle kind of flapping of wings all above you.
What do you think?
This is amazing. I didn't know this was here.
It's a big city. It's one of my favorite places to go and think. There's this community of gnomes that kind of looks after it. They live just over that hill there.
Very sweet.
Butterflies particularly like these, and I sort of just gesture to the different kinds of flora that they nest in, and so they sort of tend to stick around here even at night.
This is the kind of garden my father always wanted.
And, well, maybe it's the kind we'll have.
Oh, wow. We're going to have this much space, you think? We'll have to...
Hey, we're agents over pair.
That's true.
We can make space. Somewhere.
I'd happily tend to it. This is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It's very special.
Thank you for showing me this.
I just want you to know. I just want to bring you joy, I guess.
Yeah, like you do that just by being around.
Really?
Yes. What?
I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit of a wet blanket.
That's harsh. You're a little reserved, a little stoic, but it's one of the many things I like about you.
Thanks. And then I like lock my eyes onto some of the flowers. There's this story that I read a lot when I was a kid. The creation of Elbor. You know, Vermeer creates the first Fulgur, the sun in the sky, and Duria's great bird spreads seeds all across the land. And the sun feeds those seeds, and Eldoria realizes that they need more nourishment, so she whips up a tempest to pour rainwater all across the land. And the seeds grow, right? They become these grand trees and vines and weeds and mushrooms. But one seed, for some reason, refuses to grow. So Eldoria goes to the other gods. She says, I need help with this seed. It won't grow. I was going to use this nectar. And she provides this drop of nectar. She says, I think it needs something sweet, something delicate to grow. And Vermeer says, yes, but maybe also something jubilant, something glorious. So she adds a little sparkle of light. And Laurus summons the magic that Vermeer gave to him, and he places it in the droplet of nectar, and he says, it needs something transcendent, something that can change even the most stubborn of wind. Right? And then, of course, Fenra furrows her brow, and she says, this needs something strong, needs something durable that can't be bent. And she instills in the drop of nectar her iron will. And then it comes to Atir. And Atir goes through all his books, all his studies, and can't seem to find a good word. So he instills instead the essence of mystery. He says, what will make this seed grow is something that is undefinable. Something that scholars and poets, singers and doctors will aspire to define happily till the end of time. And they drop this bit of nectar into the earth, and it goes straight into the seed. And immediately, the seed explodes into life, and the flowers spread all across the land. Cone flowers, and I start to point to the flowers around us. Aster, butterfly weed, flower and dogwood, coreopsis, and of course, roses. And that is how, if you believe my childhood school books, the gods created love.
Goodness.
I know it's something that we have our differences, Tess. And maybe we'll always have them, and I think that's alright. Because I feel sweet and magical and jubilant and stalwart and intrigued about you.
Not as good with words as you are. Ceallach, I love every part of you. And every part I get to know only makes me love you more. I don't have a story for that.
That's pretty good as words go, Tess.
That's just how I feel.
And I'll just draw them into a deep kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And just relish in the peace around us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you spend the remainder of your evening walking in this beautiful sanctuary, flowers surrounding you, butterflies flitting through the air, or maybe the first time the two of you get to enjoy a genuine moment, an evening of peace and just to be and learn about each other and allow your love to continue to flower and grow. Oh, Lord.
Loud.
Oh, my. You guys.
Oh, me, oh, my.
Oh, me, oh, my. Oh, me, oh, my. That was lovely.
That was beautiful.
That
Well done.
Barker poet of love over there.
Yeah. Wow.
Take inspiration. Take inspiration. I don't know why I never do it, and I always forget. Take inspiration.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Get you some.
I need to start doing that more. Remind me to do
I mean, that was
more.
inspirational.
That
Like, I was in there like,
That was great.
can I just
Shane,
like,
take some
write
inspiration.
that?
Okay.
as
Yours. Take it.
as a careful and as a careful perimeter maintained by a few hand-selected steam knife wardens.
Nice.
No one intrudes on your evening.
Yay!
That's so nice.
You know those Steam Stride Wardens are all taking notes. They're like, oh my god,
They're
this
like,
is...
oh man.
Like I
What?
definitely,
I gotta bring my one.
As soon as they leave, I'm bringing her.
yeah.
Yeah, like he
I
said
set this up
what,
for you.
What did he say the flower was? What did flowers do?
in their
That story, they're all using their ridiculous passive perception. Just slowly, a bunch of Steam Stride wardens are like leaning.
in their stats, their ability to like.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
Woo
how
has
love
gone
was
out,
made.
like-
And my love for you.
Scribbling notes
A
furiously.
tear did what? What did a tear say? Did you get a tear?
They share afterwards.
They're
Like, you
sharing.
get it. No, I was too busy writing computers.
But as we fade away from the two lovers in Shadehaven Park, we come to Mr. Seeker.
Hi.
Deep within the bedrock of the mountains to the east, within the sanctum of the Eightfold Path.
Yeah.
The Seeker.
Mhm.
You find yourself having recently been left to your own devices by the Sanctum Cantiao,
Yes, my new friend.
your new friend. You see before you the massive crystalline structure of the orb, and you have before you the scroll that you have carried all these many years.
Mm-hmm.
And because of time, I'm so sorry, Rodney.
Sorry, buddy.
But we will pick up with Seeker
Oh shit.
next time,
Ooh.
and we will see exactly what happens for our friend
I see.
as he undergoes the rituals and the rites
Icy scroll.
of Laurus.
Let's fucking go, dude.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That was awesome. Thank you guys for playing. That was great. Oh my god. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye, nerds.
Bye, nerds.
Rodney, thank you for being. I
sorry,
figured
man.
it was no. It's fine.
Hey nerds, Devin here. If you're enjoying Venture Forth, please like, follow, and subscribe on whatever platform you're using, and make sure to tell your friends. If you're interested in going the extra mile, please check out our Patreon link in our description to support the show and get access to exclusive bonus content. Bye nerds.
We are Venture Forth. Oh my god. Let's go. Angels of Whoopio.
Type shit.
Skibbity.